Thank you very much, Jonathan, for that. Welcome everyone, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to introduce to you blockchains, what it is and why it matters. So what I'm going to do is just split this talk into two parts. First of all, about myself and what blockchain is, and hopefully with those fundamentals, I want to go through a use case of insurance on the blockchain. So, first of all, I have been in this industry for about 2.5, 3 years, and I run the Wellington blockchain meetup. I had no idea how they worked, so about 1.5 years ago, I just gave it a go. I reinvigorated it actually. And this picture here is about 10 of us just sitting around a table, chilling out. And fast forward a year and a bit. Yesterday, we ran a meetup in Biz Dojo on Tory Street, and we had 65 people there. We had 3 speakers. We had Steve Lowe from Standards New Zealand talk about TC 307, which is a technical standard that's coming out. So blockchain is going to have its own ISO number, and that's a huge deal. We had Jeff Ward Marshall from DLA Piper talking about ICOs and the regulations around that, because ICOs are a big topic nowadays. And finally, we had some international visitors from Australia from the NEM Foundation. NEM is a blockchain platform that you can build applications on top of, in particular smart contracts, which relates to insurance. And you'll see that in the second part. So I was doing all this work for the community, and then I was recognised with an award from the Blockchain Association of New Zealand earlier this year. I had no idea who they were. I didn't even know if they existed. So when I did, I then nominated myself to participate, help in the education area and training, because that's my background. And then the picture on the right-hand side is I was in Australia studying about blockchains over there, and thought I'd have fun and enter a hackathon, a blockchain hackathon over there, and we came second. So that was pretty cool, a great experience as well. So I'm probably the only geek in the room, but I'm okay with that, because you may have heard that geeks are ruling the world now with software, so watch out. I run a website called talkcrypto.org, sharing what I know. One of my main beliefs is learning is doing, actually getting hands-on. And one of my favorite quotes here is, knowing is not enough, we must apply, and willing is not enough, we must do. And in fact, a funny story, in primary, way back, I was the only Asian kid, not in the class, but in the whole school actually, and people would tease me and call me Bruce Lee. But I was never offended, because he's a fan, I'm a fan of Bruce Lee, so I was actually quite happy about that. And my Twitter handle is sean.au, so if you want to connect, go there, you'll jump to my LinkedIn profile, you'll find my website as well. So, where do we start if you want to learn about blockchains? Well, for me, I went right back to the beginning to learn about Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency, because Bitcoin is built on the blockchain platform or infrastructure. Bitcoin was created by a person or a group of people called Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2008. We don't actually know who that person is, they're anonymous. But what they did is they created this cryptocurrency and they released it to the world. Now, in the past, you may have heard that Bitcoin was related to buying drugs on Silk Road, gambling websites, etc. That was in the early days. Now, it's all about this big bubble. You may have heard the price of Bitcoin. I think it's about 13,000 US dollars. I don't know what that is in New Zealand, but maybe close to 20,000. And whether this bubble is going to pop or not. So that's the currency side of things. When it first came out, there was mention of block and chain, and then a few years later, people started putting 2 words together and started talking about blockchains, right? So what is it exactly? Well, first of all, let's go through an example. Now, if I'm going to send 1 Bitcoin to, say, Jonathan, which would be nice if it was real, but let's just hypothetically, this is a Bitcoin transaction, but if you increase the scope of it, it's not just about currency, but it's about data. I could be transferring information to the blockchain. It could be, say, a certificate, land title. It could be your degree. I could put that on the blockchain, and I'll tell you why shortly. Now, when I make this transaction to Jonathan, the information gets put on the blockchain. And the blockchain really is a group of computers all around the world talking to each other. what these computers do is they look at the transaction and they say, oh, do I actually have 1 Bitcoin? If I do, it'll continue checking, following a whole bunch of rules, and if it's all good, it will then take all the transactions, put it together in this metaphorical block, and then link it to other previous blocks using maths. So it's essentially a huge distributed, decentralized database. Think of it like that. So here's a bit of a picture that we'll go through, just to sink in the theory. So we've got a computer, a cell phone. You can make a transaction with the blockchain. Information goes into these computer networks. They're called nodes on the network. The nodes talk to each other. You know, like P2P, how you might be BitTorrent back in the days. The computers then all agree on the transactions. If they don't agree, if there's something wrong, they'll just ignore the transaction and throw it away. Once that's done, it then gets wrapped into a block and then linked to the other blocks using maths, creating this chain. So, if you're still thinking, well, what the heck is it? Let's go through an analogy. So we all know Excel, right? Microsoft Excel. Think of the rows inside Excel as a transaction. You've got multiple rows inside, and then you've got your Excel sheets. Think of a sheet as a block. And then the very last line in Excel, there'll be a sentence saying the next block, the next sheet is sheet number 2 or sheet number 3. That's the link between the sheets or the blocks. And then all the sheets together make a chain. So think of it that way. It might give you another perspective on what blockchain is. Okay. So what are the properties of blockchains? Why do people love it? Why are people using it? First of all, it's decentralized. So there's no Land Information New Zealand. There's no New Zealand Transport Authority. There's no central bank to look after the system. It's permissionless. You don't need to ask anyone to join the network. You download the code, you run the software, and you're part of the network already. The information is encrypted, it's secure using maths. You may have heard putting your identity on the blockchain, for example. So you can encrypt that, and you can prove that you're over 18, for example, without having to release your date of birth. It's neutral. So what I mean by that is that to participate in the network, the blockchain doesn't care where you come from, your gender, your race, your religion. All you have to do is get the software and you're free to participate in the network. It's transparent. All the transactions on the blockchain, it's auditable. You can encrypt the information or you can have it open for other people to see. It's immutable. What that means is that when you put information on the blockchain, it doesn't change. It's locked there forever. If you wanted to update it, you'd have to put another transaction on top. So in fact, it's like an append-only database. What are some of the disadvantages? Well, first of all, it's a little slow. Making a block takes about 10 minutes on average on the Bitcoin blockchain. There are other blockchains out there that have a quicker time, such as 2.5 minutes, 30 seconds. But generally, it's a lot slower. There's a scalability issue because as the popularity increases, everyone's starting to use the blockchain for all sorts of applications. One of the comparisons I like to make is that internet in the old days, people were using emails and they wanted to attach images, but they couldn't. So then the internet grew bigger, bandwidth increased, and then you could attach pictures. But then people wanted to send movies, but you couldn't. So then the internet scaled, it got bigger, technology got better, and then you could send movies. And the same with HD quality, etc., etc. And obviously, it's technically challenging. Trying to understand this new technology takes a bit of work. And at the moment, it's dedicated pretty much to just the geeks amongst us. But information is spreading, and it's worthwhile to learn as well, because it will affect, I believe, each and every one of us. Here's just a quick image of the blockchain landscape. At the top here, you've got the blockchain platform, of which there are many to choose from. After this, you've got what we call the protocol. It's really the rules if you want to do something on the blockchain, you need to follow rules. And down below are all the applications that are being developed all around the world. Okay, so that was a quick snapshot of blockchains. I hope you're not all flabbergasted or taken aback. What I want to do now is go through an example. And this is about putting insurance on the blockchain. So what happened was, about a month ago, there was a big conference in Cancun in Mexico. And there was this company that offered to provide insurance on the blockchain. And the company is called Etherisc. And what it does is it's a flight delay DApp. Now a DApp stands for a decentralized application. But the first decentralized insurance application which can issue policies and pay out valid claims autonomously. Right? Now have a think about that. It's an automated smart contract on the blockchain where you can interact with it, you can buy a policy, and if your flight is delayed, it will pay you a certain amount of money, or cryptocurrency in this case. This is the company here, Etherisc. There's a website down below, but I'm going to play a short video, and this guy will give you an introduction on how it works.
All right. So, next up, he's already here, Stefan Karpiszek, founder of Etherisc. Etherisc builds decentralized insurance applications. Here's everything you need to make the most of those 7 minutes.
Thank you so much. What a great welcome. My name is Stefan. I'm one of the 3 co-founders of Etherisc. We are all 3 here, so please find us after this presentation. We are building decentralized insurance. I like to think of it as reinventing insurance on the blockchain. Let me walk you through a very concrete, very tangible example. This is the flight delay insurance, the flight delay DApp. We have released this over a year ago now for DEFCON 2, the Ethereum Developer Conference, and I will quickly walk you through the process so you understand what decentralized insurance means and what are the consequences for this huge, huge industry. This is a normal website. You use it to interact with a smart contract that is sitting on the Ethereum blockchain. You can use it right now. You can try it yourself at fdd.etherisk.com. So we select a flight here. We are flying from JFK to London Heathrow. And we are presented with a policy. The policy shows us exactly how much we will get paid out if this particular flight will be delayed. So in the case the flight is cancelled, we get 30 times our premium. In the case the flight is delayed by 15 to 29 minutes, we would get around 7 times what we paid in. If I click apply here, my browser pops up. This is MetaMask, a browser plugin, which gives you a wallet in your web browser. And as soon as you accept this transaction, you transfer a small amount of money, the premium, to the smart contract. You also tell the smart contract your flight data, and that's it. That's the last step that's ever needed. There is no more interaction needed. There is no claims process whatsoever. As soon as your flight is delayed, you automatically get a payout. And the best thing, there is no insurance company involved. It's just software. It's just a smart contract on the blockchain. Nobody can deny you this payout. Nobody can control it. And we think this is a huge, huge benefit and a great user experience too. The nice thing about this is we can apply the very, very same principle to other insurance verticals. And we have done so. We've gotten a lot of great feedback on this. And we have implemented this with weather and came up with a weather-based crop insurance. And I spare you the details, but it works exactly the same way as the flight delay insurance, just with a different data source. And as soon as the weather is too bad for your crop to bring you revenue, you get automatically a payout. The interesting thing here is this enables completely new markets. A farmer in many African countries at the moment has no chance to get such an insurance because it just does not pay. It does not work from a commercial perspective for the insurance companies to offer such a product. With a smart contract and decentralized insurance, this makes perfect sense. It's a zero-sum game. There is no insurance company involved that needs to make money on this. So we can have insurances with something like $1 per month premium. That's not possible today. High-level architecture, very simple. It's a smart contract sitting on the Ethereum blockchain. It's interacting with what we call an oracle, a data source that's offline. It's a web database, flightstats.com in one example. And you have the user interface. This can be a web application, or it also works in Status, which is a mobile Ethereum client. Our vision, our goal, we think this is highly beneficial for consumers. It will make insurance much, much more transparent, provably fair, and highly standardized. And we think this can cover the whole value chain of insurance. We have released a few papers on this, a white paper already last year. We are coming up with a token model for a platform token to enable everybody, including you, to come up with new insurance products and deploy them very easily on the blockchain. And this is our roadmap. So we are in 2017. We are building up our team. We have about 30 people now working on this project. We are doing a lot of educational work with the regulators. We think it's super important to talk to the regulators, educate them about blockchain and smart contracts. We are working in 4 jurisdictions now. We recently joined the Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, and we hope that this year, maybe early next year, we will sell the first insurance fully licensed, fully regulated over the Ethereum blockchain. And in 2019, at least, we will have a nice platform and a nice community, and you don't invest in a startup, you invest in an industry, in a decentralized form of an insurance industry. So we have a lot of big challenges, and luckily we have very, very good people, and I'm especially proud to announce 2 new advisors to our team today, which is William Mugayar and Jake Brookman. And we are very happy to have you guys. It's a pleasure to be working with you on this. We have recently moved to the Crypto Valley in Zug, have found very good partners there with Lakeside Partners and Inacta AG. Ralph has joined our board of advisors. And we have also recently announced, working with Co-Founded, preparing a token sale. And I know that's what you are all waiting for. I won't give you a date, not yet. So we will have a token sale later this year. We are preparing this. We want to be very safe on the regulatory side, investing a lot of time in KYC and identifying our investors. Yeah. And one more thing, we strongly believe in nurturing and fostering the community. So we will have a developer conference on the topic of decentralized insurance. This will take place one day before the big Ethereum developer conference, DevCon 3 in Cancun. And I'm happy to see many of you there to talk about decentralized insurance. And my time is up. Thank you so much.
And another important thing is that this is all open source. So that application you saw is located at this website here. It's a source code repository. So anyone can go in, look at how it works. And this is part of the transparent aspect. I mean, if the website says the payout is this amount for this time, you can go in and double check that this is actually true. The source can be verified and audited. So in summary, I've talked a bit about the blockchain technology. Very quick, I've talked about the landscape and the properties, which is very important, right? The decentralization, the encryption, security, the permissionless aspect, being neutral, for example. And we looked at a very quick case study which is in production. You know, these guys are testing the market, and it's out there, and it will improve. So with that, just in conclusion, I've been talking to a lot of lawyers and accountants and different people in the industries, and they can see the potential for this disruption. So what you can imagine is that accountants and lawyers will have to understand a little bit of code, a little bit of programming. Maybe not you guys, but the younger generation coming through. When you start hiring people and you see a lawyer with a bit of computer science background or a smart contract skills, you might think twice, because even if you don't agree with this or if you don't understand it, it's out there and it's worthwhile to understand it, even to have it as a discussion around drinks.